Woo! We're back! We're back, Jets fans. I am in a place I have never been, but I'm back here in my comfort zone with you. Greenbean's Jets Pod, episode 57, I think it is now. Holy macaroni. Holy macaroni. It is episode 57. So I'm in a good mood. I'll tell you all about what's going on, where we are, but first I want to thank you for coming back. I am Greenbean, and like I said, this is Greenbean's Jets Pod, the weekly podcast that we release right here on Greenbeanjetsfan's YouTube page. It's also on greenbeanjetsfan.com and anywhere that you find podcasts, audio format. Why not, right? You got Spotify, you got all the places. You can find it there. I know a lot of people like to listen to it audio version, and that's good too. I will tell you folks on the audio side of things, there are a lot of graphics and stuff that I use, and you're missing out on a little bit of that. Love that you listen. Truth is, I listen to podcasts like Just Jets from Matt O'Leary and some others strictly audio, so I get it too. But there is that element that you might be missing on the audio format, just so you know. So what is it today? You know, guys, we have so much to talk about. So much to talk about today. We're going to get into what has become somewhat of a debate. I didn't think it would be one as we were winding down the season. I really didn't think it would be so much of a discussion, but it's really becoming very polarizing. And that in a similar fashion to the trade or not to trade Sam Darnold debate last year, the use the second overall pick on a quarterback debate that we had last year, it kind of developed into Zach versus Sam, right? We had all that. There was the logic about, hey, if you keep Sam Darnold, you can trade back out of that second overall pick and you can get a major haul. A good example is what the 49ers gave up to move up to pick number 3. They gave up what boiled down to 3 first-round picks. They gave up their pick in last year's draft, obviously, pick 12. Then they gave up a 2022 first and a 2023 first, and they also threw in, why not? Here's a little third-rounder for you, a little third-rounder action. So a lot of fans saw the logic in, hey, we already have a third overall pick quarterback. Sure, he hasn't looked good, but, we had the Adam Gase thing. We had no offensive line. Mike McCagnon didn't seem to understand that you need to protect the quarterback and maybe give him some weapons. So we had all those excuses for Sam Darnold, and the logic was, hey, let's surround this guy with some serious talent. Let's give him legitimate offensive coaching, maybe even a quarterback coach, with which we know Sam Darnold never had his entire career. Jeremy Bates didn't hire a quarterback coach, and obviously Adam Gase also chose not to hire a quarterback coach. So the guy's been just floating around. So you could keep him, give him a real shot to succeed, and then maybe even get those 3 first-round picks and stock them good. We'd have numerous firsts all the way until 2023, and this year we would have 3 firsts. So I get it. And the truth is I was in that camp. I was not that I wanted to keep Sam per se, but I was definitely of the mind that, hey, this trade back opportunity is pretty good. But this year, it's a little bit different, and we're going to get into all that. What it is, it's really developing into an offense versus defense first round of the draft. And I didn't even see that this was coming. I really didn't. So here we go. This video is going to be about the argument for using the first round on defense. Why would we do that? We're going to get into all that. We're also going to talk about a little bit of a jerk that's been around too long, who may or may not have decided to hang up his cleats, which I would be happy about. We'll talk about that fella as well, and we'll also get into some Senior Bowl stuff. But before we do, I want to remind you that this podcast is being sponsored by none other than DraftKings, and we're going to hear a word about their offer to you. Here's DraftKings. The NFL playoffs are here, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official betting partner of the NFL, is kicking things off with a huge offer. Counting down to Super Bowl 56, they're going to give all new customers using the promo code GreenBean 56-1 odds. That's putting just $5 down, and you win $280 in free bets if the team you choose wins the game. It's $5. All you do is take $5, put it down on any NFL team to win any NFL playoff game. If that team wins, all new customers using the promo code GreenBean are going to get $280 back in free bets. It's that simple. And if you don't have sportsbook in your area, don't even worry. DraftKings has something for you too. All people everywhere can play their daily fantasy contests for huge prizes, and DraftKings is also giving all new customers the chance to win millions of dollars in total prizes with your first deposit. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now, use promo code GreenBean, and get 56 to 1 odds. Again, $5, win $280 back in free bets. That's promo code GreenBean, DraftKings Sportsbook, an official betting partner of the NFL. Thank you to DraftKings, and I want to remind you the link to download the DraftKings Sportsbook app is right in the top of this description. Go ahead, click that link, use the promo code GreenBean, and you will receive 56 to 1 odds like nobody's ever heard of before. It's a fantastic offer. 56 to 1 odds. Again, bet $5, you'll win $280 back in free bets. Not bad, and thank you again to DraftKings. So guys, we're also right at the end of my contest. I need about 60 more subscribers right here on this channel. Once that happens, we're going to blow this up with all the prizes that we have. All you have to do to be entered is subscribe right here, go to my other YouTube page, Full-Time Coaster Tour, and hit subscribe there, and you are entered. If you'd like an additional entry, go to my Instagram page, Greenbeanjetsfan, and follow me there. If you do that, you're going to be in. What can you win? You can win a t-shirt of your choice from the GreenbeanJetsfan.com merch store, and one grand prize winner will also get that t-shirt, but they will be receiving a Manscaped Ultra Smooth Pack and some Green Bean stickers. What could be nicer than that? So go ahead and get involved and get me to that goal of 5,000. I wanted to do it by the end of December, but hey, we'll take the beginning of February, right? Why not? What's the big deal? It's still pretty much my first year, and I thank all of you for the amazing support that we've received over here. And we have lots more awesome stuff coming for you guys, including my Patreon, which is the link right below the DraftKings link. Get involved. We have just amazing additional content for you guys there. So here we are. What do you want to talk about first, Jets fans? I say we talk about where Mo Lewis, one of my all-time favorite New York Jets, came around the left side of the defense and absolutely smashed the quarterback of the New England Patriots, Drew Bledsoe, and in came this 6th-round pick, and we laughed. Ha, ha, ha. Who is this fella? They're in trouble now. Belichick's going to get fired. And we all know that didn't happen. And this man has proceeded to cause 20 years, 2 decades. I was a 26-year-old man when that happened. 26 years old. I was still drinking. Woo! I was partying, sneaking in airplane bottles into the stadium or whatever else I did, spiking my hot cocoa. I was still doing all that jazz. I had a nice brown and red beard, a little tighter to the face. I worked for AT&T at the time, I think. I was a stand-up comedian. That's when Tom Brady came in. I was still a New York City stand-up comedian. I hadn't even left to go to Los Angeles yet. And this guy comes in. And, dude, I think his record is 32-8 against us. So we did have 8 games in 20 years where we beat this guy. A lot of those were Rex Ryan. At one time, Rex was 3-2 against the New England Patriots, so that was good. That ended right in 2010, and then he never won against Bill Belichick and Tom Brady ever again, but it was nice for a minute there. So I'm actually hearing people that are Jets fans that are actually saying, oh, this is an end of an era. You know, not to be able to watch this greatness is a sad day. What? What are you talking about? I'm telling you what, I couldn't be happier that he chose not to leave at the end of last year on that pinnacle, that high note. Think about it. He left the Patriots. Nobody knew. Was it Belichick? Was it Brady? Who was the greatness? What happened? Tom Brady leaves in his first free agent period ever, goes to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, takes a team that has been unable to make the playoffs in over a decade, takes them right to the Super Bowl and wins it. Bill Belichick, meanwhile, couldn't even make the playoffs. Now, there's reasons for that, all kinds of, it doesn't matter. The ground floor is Tom Brady left, went to the Super Bowl and won it. Bill Belichick stayed, and they didn't even make the playoffs. If he left right there, it was the highest possible pinnacle that he could. I mean, what higher of a note? So I'm so glad that he's just a touch of greed. He's just a little bit greedy, and he tried to come back and squeeze out another one. More. Nom, 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 nom. That's Tom Brady. Nom, nom, nom. I needed everything. I want to be the greatest. I know I'm already said to be the greatest, but I want to be even greatester. That's what he wants to do, and he went out on a loss. Congratulations, Tom Brady. I know it's a little battle. It's small. I know what I'm saying. Believe me, I'm aware, but it's still something. It's still something. Now, would I have liked to beat them on the way to the Super Bowl? Of course. But hey, he had our number, man. All right. For whatever reason. Now, a lot of that's on our own end with the crap that we've hired and chosen and how we've run the team. It's all on us. Don't get me wrong. But the truth is that he has caused us years, decades of pain. I have friends, fans that are 25 years old. Dude, they don't even know what the world was like before Tom Brady. They don't even know. He's been here the whole time. Goodbye, Tom Brady. I hope that you never win another thing ever in the NFL. Now, I don't ever root against a man, right? I don't ever root against anybody in their personal lives. Not my gig. I wish everybody love, peace, happiness, all those things. And I mean it sincerely. But as far as the NFL, good riddance, buddy. I'm glad you went out on a loss. It couldn't make me happier. And while I know it's just a small little something, I'm glad I got it. Just a little piece of hard candy. Just one little Werther's original for me on the way out. I'll take it. I'm happy. Goodbye. Any Jets fans saying that this is a sad day or anything, I don't even know what planet you come from. I really don't. With all due respect to you, I don't get it. That is not where I live. Goodbye, Tom Brady. I'm glad you lost in your last game. What do you think? Oh my God. Can you believe it? And now his father's coming out saying that he's not retiring. It's all baloney, man. The guy just wants more and more attention. And go ahead, give him his attention. Who cares? Go ahead and give it to him. But as long as he's gone, goodbye. Get out of here. So another sad thing is happening. I don't know if it's sad or not. It's going to be weird, though, because this will be the last Greenbean's Jets pod that I have this hair. Look at all my hair. Look at it all. This is the last one, guys. I'm getting a haircut today. I'm getting a haircut, and I'd like to just say goodbye to my hair. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. It's not easy growing out long, flowing locks and living with it. It's a pain in the butt. It really is, and I'm done. I'm just done with it. I really am. But I think I'll miss it. I do like to headbang a little bit. I like when music's, I like the hair and all that stuff. So it'll be sad, but times are a-changing. We're moving on. Speaking of moving on, guys, I am now in San Antonio, Texas. I just drove through the traffic-riddled Jake Assman's home city of Houston, and boy, oh boy, with all due respect to Houston and to Jake and anybody else who lives there, man, was that a tough little stretch. I couldn't wait to get through Houston, man. That took me, it added 2 hours to my trip. Oh my God. So we're in San Antonio. We're going to hit Six Flags Fiesta, Texas later today. We're even going to hit SeaWorld San Antonio, and you can find all those vids on Full-Time Coaster Tour, my other YouTube page. But guys, this one's going to be fun. I couldn't wait to get down in Texas. But the thing is, I thought I was coming to someplace warm, And it's 26 degrees. I know up north you guys are like, yeah, please, we don't want to hear it. We had 2 feet of snow. I hear you, but you're in New Jersey. You're in New York. Like, you're supposed to get that. I'm in southern Texas, man, San Antonio. I thought there'd be desert. And there is, but it was below freezing. I had to disconnect my pipes. What is this? This is not what I signed up for, Jets fans. Anyway, I'm here. And I'm happy to be here. I'm going to go see the Alamo for the first time, and I'll show you guys all about it. And you can catch all that stuff, like I said, on Full-Time Coaster Tour, but I'll show you some stuff here as well. Made it to New Orleans, as you guys know. Marie Laveau's Voodoo Shop, Café du Monde, beignets.
You can like dump your sugar in here.
How is it? Right?
If you've been to the Jersey Shore, you know what this tastes like, though.
And that's not to say anything negative about the beignet. It was delicious. But again, we got beignets up in New Jersey, up on the Jersey Shore. You know what they're called? They're called Zeppelis. That's what they're called. And if you like it a different form, it's called funnel cake. So there it is. It was good. It was good. But like I said, if you've been to the Jersey Shore, you know exactly what Café du Monde's beignets taste like. So guys, let's get to this argument about the draft that New York Jets fans are in right now. Now, I want to make a case for choosing defense. Now, that's not to say that I'm firmly on that side. Truth is, I kind of am, but we're also going to make another vid that would support the offense and what that would look like, okay? Like the argument for going offense. This video is going to be about the argument to use our first-round picks exclusively on defense. Now, look, as we say, there's a lot that still has to happen, right, before we go to the draft. I get every single video that we make about this stuff, there's always going to be at least one comment, usually more like, this is dumb. You can't even talk about the draft until we do free agency and blah, blah, and see who the cuts are. I get it. I understand that. But it's nice to be prepared for when that happens and have your knowledge base. Why wait till free agency before you start talking about, thinking about, and going through it? Look, and the real truth is we don't get to choose anything over here on this side of the aisle, let's say. We don't get anything. But it's fun to talk about, and that's what we're doing. If you have an interest in this stuff, it's good to talk about it now. We know damn well that a lot of this stuff, like, for example, let's say that we go into free agency and we make a trade for a great edge rusher, then we get the top edge rusher in free agency, and then we do all this and that, and of course, it's going to change what you want to do in the draft, right? We know that, but we're going in with what we know now. We're just going to take a look at things as they stand today, okay? So what is it about defense? Well, let's talk about our own team needs first, okay? Let's take a look. I don't know if you were aware, but the New York Jets defense wasn't very good last year. And by not very good, I mean, overall, we had the 32nd ranked defense. Now, let's take a look and a little bit deeper into that stuff. So in points allowed, we were 32nd. In yards allowed, we were 32nd. And before I go further, I want to remind you there are 32 teams in the NFL. Okay? So we were 32nd in points allowed. We are 32nd in yards allowed. We were 30th in passing yards allowed. Passing touchdowns, we were a little bit better. You know, we had a somewhat of a bend, don't break defense. They did have quite a few third and fourth down stands down there in the goal line, a little bit more than usual. And that's a credit to the will of the defense, the inspiration of the defense, the work ethic, the drive, the pride. Absolutely. They had the most yards in the NFL against them. They had the 30th most passing yards, but then the 20th in passing touchdowns, which helps. Now, rushing yards is 29th in the league. Rushing touchdowns, this is where that previous stat of bend, don't break gets a little uglier. We were 32nd in the league. Okay. And a lot of those came from, outer space. They were long runs. Think of the Indianapolis game alone. 32nd in rushing touchdowns. Red zone touchdowns, we were also 32nd. So we were 28th in sacks. Our defense sacking the other quarterback, 28th in the NFL. Interceptions, we were 30th in the NFL. And look, we were 32nd for a lot of that time. But they at the end of the season, we did have a few more pop out, some Brandon Eccles, little Ashton Davis action. So we did some of that. So guys, by every meaningful metric, the Jets defense was atrocious. Now let's look at that a little bit deeper. The Jets chose to start more rookies on defense than any other team in the NFL. Now, even on top of that, some of those rookies, and we'll get into the other guys too, some of those rookies that we chose to start were injured on top of it. So we were even second tier into rookies and undrafted free agents and all that stuff. So there are woven in little understandable reasons why we could see the numbers like we see them. Okay. But still, it doesn't matter. They were 32nd, 30th, 29th across the board. Now, when you look at the injuries, a lot of the injuries, especially early on, were concentrated on defense too. Big injuries, like our starting linebacker that we signed in free agency, Jared Davis. He got injured early on before the first game. We lost the big edge rusher that we brought in, Carl Lawson. We didn't see one snap from him this whole season. Not one snap. He ruptured his Achilles tendon. Then the rookie that we hoped would start next to CJ Mosley with Jared Davis out, Jamien Sherwood, he gets injured, comes back, and ruptures his Achilles tendon. Then Hamza Nasruddin, who we thought would be the third linebacker out there with Mosley and Sherwood, he gets injured, and he's in and out of the lineup all year, and then he eventually got relegated primarily to special teams. What about Vinny Curry? Okay, he was supposed to be the opposite side of Carl Lawson. Maybe not a full-time player quite to the degree that Carl Lawson was intended to be, but he was supposed to be at minimum a rotational piece. Then the guy that Saleh brings over from the 49ers, Ronald Blair, he's out the first half of the season. What about LaMarcus Joyner, our big safety free agent? One game, we saw maybe a quarter of him. I don't even know if he was out there 10 minutes, and we lost him for the season. What about Marcus May? He injures his ankle for a couple weeks, comes back, ruptures his Achilles tendon. So we were down to 5th, 6th, 7th safeties in some respects. We were signing guys off the street and they were starting mere days later. So there are reasons for it. That said, some of these injured guys, like a Jared Davis, probably like a Vinny Curry, maybe even a Ronald Blair, we need to replace these guys. Some of these guys were older. You know, Jared Davis was a 1-year prove-it deal. He proved nothing, so he's going to need to go. So, guys, we're looking at a defense that needs help. And I know it's an offensive league. I get it. But, like, a really good example is the Buffalo Bills. A lot of people are talking about, look at Buffalo's #1 defense. They couldn't stop the Chiefs with 13 seconds and all that jazz, and that's true. But let's not forget what that defense did to get them to that game. The Buffalo defense was #1 in takeaways for primarily the whole season. I don't know if maybe they were second at the end or anything like that, but they were #1 or tied for #1 for a large portion of this season. Guys, that gives the offense that many more chances to score points. So the Buffalo defense was absolutely paramount in getting them into the situation where that happens. And look, one game is never a vehicle to change everything, right? We know it's an offensive league, but we also know that you need defense. With the offensive stats, now, with the offensive rules and all that kind of stuff and all the electric spread offenses that we're seeing in the NFL now, you need a defense that can at least neutralize them some of the time. You need it. You need it. You can't get into 65-58 shootouts you can't do it. You need a defense. Our defense happens to be the worst in the NFL. So it's understandable from that point of view that you would at least consider going defense with your premium picks. Now, let's add to that the first 2 drafts of the Joe Douglas era, the first 2 rounds, exclusively offense. First year, he took Becton in the first, Mims with the second. His second year, he took Zach Wilson and AVT in the first. He took Elijah Moore in the second, and then even went to the fourth and took Michael Carter. So, you know, we're talking about a guy who has used all of his premium draft capital on the offense. So we're at a place now where you think, okay, the defense is now 32nd in the league. Maybe, just maybe, we do have 2 picks in the first round. Maybe, just maybe, it's time to focus a little bit of those resources on the other side of the ball. Now let's talk about, let's just get into the draft and what's really available to us. To get into the draft side of this thing, let's get into the intelligent gripe. So there are a lot of guys out there that, and I think, and rightfully so, just want to protect Zach Wilson. Let's protect Zach. Let's give him all the weapons that we can. And there's clearly logic there. And I would never argue that that should be a priority. Now, you have to look at where you are when you're looking at what you're going to procure. For example, if you go into a pizzeria and they have pasta, they have, strombolis, and they got all different kinds of pizza. And then they have one other item, barbecue ribs. You're in the mood for barbecue, but you're at a pizzeria. Do you think it's a good idea to get barbecue there just because they have it? Now, maybe it's good. Not saying it's not. But you gotta know where you are. If you really want to get something good, get something that their expertise is in. Maybe get pizza, maybe get pasta, maybe get the chicken franchise, maybe get something like that, the monogot. Maybe consider what they have to offer, not what you want to offer. I remember I went to Eureka, California, and I went to this really highly regarded little restaurant. It was not soul food, it was like a Creole soul food kind of place. And they had chicken and waffles, and they had all this kinds of stuff. And what did I get? Because they had it on the menu. And I still am mad at myself for this. I got tofu. Why did I was just in the mood. And guess what? It was terrible. It was terrible. They had all kinds of great stuff that they made. They were world famous for. Guy Fieri was there, a whole bunch of stuff. And I get tofu. And my first bite, I'm like, you're an idiot. You're an idiot. Why are you getting tofu at the Creole South soul food restaurant? Why? Now, I'm telling you, that was 2, 3, 4 years ago, and I'm still mad about it. That's how much this stuff can linger, guys. So this particular draft, while I am all on board for going offense with, to surround Zach Wilson, we need help here, we need help there. Completely agree. You got to look at what store you're shopping in, what restaurant are we at right now? Now, let's take a look. If you go into a lot of the big boards, obviously PFF has one, Draft Tech has one, PFN, CBS, ABC, everybody's got their big board. Some of them are downright ridiculous, so we'll leave some of them out, but we're going to take a look at some of these. Now, I want to show you a trend. Let's take a look at one of my favorite draft sites, and that is Draft Tech. Let's just take a look at their top 10. Why the top 10? Because the Jets have 2 top 10 picks. We don't have a top 15. We don't have a top 25. We have 2 top 10 picks. So we want to look at that pool of players because that's where the largest concentration of potential blue chippers are. Okay, guys that you just cannot get later in the draft. Talent that is very difficult, sometimes even impossible to replicate later in the round or in the later rounds. Okay, we all know about the gems and all that. We're talking about the highest likelihood to be successful in the NFL. When you look at their big board, you're going to see something here. Number 1, they have Kyle Hamilton rated as the number 1 overall player. Then you got Aiden Hutchinson, Kayvon Thibodeau, followed by Evan Neal, Derek Stingley, Matt Corral, DeMarvin Leal, Ahmad Gardner, George Karlaftis, and Garrett Wilson. Now, what's the trend you see there? And remember, this is the top 10 from their point of view. The larger group of the top 10 are on the defensive side of the ball. 7 out of 10 are on the defensive side of the ball. Now, let's take a look at another one. This is Draft Network. Okay, now you'll see. There's obviously going to be different ratings on different players and all that, but you're going to start to see something here. Up top, you got Kayvon Thibodeau, Kyle Hamilton, 1 and 2, Aiden Hutchinson. So it's the same group of players in the top 3, a little shuffle-rooney, but the same basic players in that top 3. Then you got Ikem Ekwonu at number 4. Instead of, remember the last one they had Evan Neal, this one has Ekwonu up top for the offensive side of the ball. Then they follow that with Derek Stingley, Andrew Booth, Evan Neal, there he is, George Karlaftis, Devin Lloyd, and Kenyon Green. So you're seeing a few different names than we saw in the last one, but the theme is still the same. 7 of the 10 are on the defensive side of the ball. That's 70%. Exactly the same as Draft Tech. let's take a look at a draft board that a lot of people look at. All right. A lot of people use this site, and that's fine, well and dandy, but let's just see how they broke it down. Their big board looks like this. Number one up top, you got Aiden Hutchinson, then followed by Thibodeau and Kyle Hamilton. Again, the same top three, followed by Derek Stingley, Evan Neal as the top tackle, Charles Cross, George Karlaftis, Ahmad Gardner. Then there's Linderbaum sneaks into the top 10 there, followed by Garrett Wilson. So this one's a little bit different. They have 6 of the top 10 on the defensive side of the ball. Remember, we have 2 top 10 picks. 6 of the top 10 players from their point of view is currently on the defensive side of the ball. So we had 70%, 70%, and 60%. Let's look at PFN. This one I think might be a little bit different. So PFN has it shuffled even still a bit more. So they have Kayvon Thibodeau up top, they're followed by Kyle Hamilton. This is where it gets interesting. They have Evan Neal at number 3, followed by Aiden Hutchinson at 4. Wouldn't that be a sweet little nugget for us to chew on? Aiden Hutchinson slipping to 4, followed by cornerback Andrew Booth, tackle Charles Cross, wide receiver Garrett Wilson, cornerback Derek Stingley. Here's Linderbaum again, center. And then Ojabo sneaks into the top 10, another edge rusher. So 3 edge rushers there. But in this one, Karlaftis is missing and replaced by Ojabo. So this one is 6 as well. So what's the point I'm getting to here? The point is this. Just like I talked about with that pizzeria, you don't go to a barbecue place and ask for pizza. You don't go to a pizzeria and get the barbecue chick. It's just, you got to know where you are. Now, in this particular draft, a lot more that I looked at are in the 7 out of the top 10 range. I brought in the 2-6 just to show you that even some that are trying to lean a little bit offense, even they have it lopsided toward the defense. So here we are. We have the 32nd ranked defense. And it just so happens that the blue chip talent of this draft is largely on that side of the ball. So do you want to squeeze a square peg through a round hole? Sure, you can do that. You can go, the argument is going to be like, well, there are 4 guys or 3 guys up there that are offensive top 10s. Why don't you grab some of them? Well, let's take a look at that now. Now, what are you seeing as the larger concentration of the offensive side of the ball top 10 guys? Let's see what position they are. Evan Neal, you're seeing on pretty much all of them. Then the next guy is Ekwonu, and then we've seen Charles Cross. So what are these guys? These are the guys that are in the top 10. Like you take a look at Draft Network, and what are they saying? They're saying Ekwonu and Neal are 2 of the 3 that they have on offense. Then they have another offensive lineman, Kenyon Green. So when you look at the percentage leaning toward defense, which happens to be our weakest point on the team currently, a place that in the Joe Douglas era, we have not used any premium capital on. What are the positions that are available in the top 10? Tackle. Okay, yes, we see a wide receiver on this one. You see a guard on this one. You even see a center on this one over here. But you're seeing consistently tackles, whether it's Ekwonu, Neal, Cross, you're seeing tackles on there. That just so happens to be a position that we have 2 starting caliber guys under contract. And we have a longtime depth guy in Chuma Edoga under contract. We also have some other guys floating around, Connor McDermott, Morgan Moses, and we'll see what happens with them. But just speaking under contract, we have Mekhi Becton, who I'm going to tell you right now, the coaching staff isn't as concerned as Rich Cimini is. Mekhi Becton, George Fant, under contract. So when you talk about need, absolute need, which is what you want to do with your first round picks, not reach for need. You want to take the best player available at a position of need. The good news / terrible news, but it's good news in this capacity, is that we have holes all over the place. You look at safety. We don't have any. We have Ashton Davis under contract. That's it. We have no other safeties. You look at edge rusher. Sure, we got Carl Lawson, but he just blew his Achilles. Let's be real for a second. It's just us in here. It's just us Jets fans. Let's be real. Do we know that Carl Lawson's going to be able to come back from this injury? He's also had knee injuries and everything else. I have the utmost respect and hope for Carl Lawson, but he's one edge rusher with an injury history, just missed an entire season. We do not know what this man is going to be able to do this year. Does he have the work ethic? Yes. Does he have the makeup of somebody? Yes. He has all the talent? Yes. Has all those things. If someone's going to come back, it's likely to be a Carl Lawson, and I'm grateful for that. But let's be real. We don't even know what he is. And even if he does come back at 100%, he's alone. We have guys like Bryce Huff. Love Bryce Huff. Let's be real again. He's probably going to be rotational at best. We got guys like Jabari Zuniga. Shit, 90% of Jets fans are ready to cut this guy. So that's what we got. We just signed Bradley and I. Great. More than likely a rotational piece, situational edge rusher. More than likely. Love Bradley and I. Love that we got him. But he's not Carl Lawson. Now let's talk about linebackers. We have one that is proven. C.J. Mosley. Yes, they like Sherwood. Great. Rookie switching from safety to linebacker. Saleh said, trust me, the guy belongs. That's great. Great news. But he just suffered a ruptured Achilles tendon. We do not know what he's going to be able to do. We never even got to see him play for any significant period of time. We don't know. Hamza Nasruddin, I think he's the steal of our 2021 draft. I still don't know what the hell he's going to do in the NFL. Got a lot of talent. He's switching positions, and he didn't exactly light the world on fire last year. Did some good stuff on special teams, made a play here and there, but we don't know what he is. Blake Cashman, dude, he's going to be gone. Quincy Williams, sure. I think Quincy Williams is going to be a fantastic special teamer and situational guy. Fantastic. Maybe 15, 20 defensive snaps a game. Perfect. That's what we got. Now, it just so happens that the draft is strong edge rusher, safety, and we saw in a couple of them, linebacker. So what is it about the offensive side of the ball when you're looking at the top 10? You want to use your top 10 pick on what we call a first-year starter. First-year starter, immediate impact, turnkey. That's what we want to be looking at. 7 out of 10 on average are on the defensive side of the ball. Most of them are edge, safety, linebacker. Like that's positions that we have legitimate holes in. The strength of the offense in the top 10 is at tackle, and we happen to have 2 starting caliber tackles under contract. So if you're going to go offense in the top 10, if we don't trade out or anything like that, if we stay at 4 and 10, if you're going to go offense, you're more than likely reaching and you're grabbing a player that is in many respects possibly a lesser tier than what we're seeing at the front end of the first round, which is the top 10, which is where we are. And that is the intelligent gripe. So there you have it. Now, look, like I said, I'm not trying to say that there isn't an argument for offense, and we'll get to all that. I want to really try to support that side as best I can too. But I'm going to tell you, I think I lean defense. Why? Because of the reasons I just outlined for you. You don't want to grab something that isn't necessarily from where you are. You got to know where you're shopping. You have to know what's available. Use the strengths of the draft. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm almost convinced that Joe Douglas didn't commit to the safety position last year because he knew that this is going to be the strongest safety class since 2002. I mean, dude, there's logic to it. Why didn't he use a draft pick on a tight end? Because this tight end class is stronger. If this is what's going on, and this is what I'm thinking is going on, then we have to really commend our general manager. Get a 1-year filler. Get an undrafted free agent. Develop them. But don't use your draft capital on a class that's a little bit weaker than the class coming out the following year. That's when I'll get my guy. That's when I'll grab Ruckert and Trey McBride and Charlie Kolar and all these other guys that I love and that happen to be on our Senior Bowl roster. So if Joe Douglas is using the draft not only for what's right in front of him, but what it's going to be, that would be an incredible coup for us as Jets fans, because I don't even think our previous two GMs knew what the hell they were looking at in front of them that day. They don't even, is this guy a first-round pick? Should I take him? No, they say that guy's rated as a third-round pick. Rex likes him. I'm going to grab him. You know, that kind of stuff. Like, so having a team that understands what's really before them, I think is going to be a major asset. And again, when you look at the strength of the draft, it's hard to argue that defense is not the way to go. Now, if we're talking about trading back, okay, different story. Let's say we trade out of 4. Let's say we trade out of 10. That's all a different story. Now you're in a different pool, and it depends on what you get in a return for a trade. All that stuff applies. Great. Then that's a different conversation. But if we're at 4 and 10, we have 2 picks in the top 10. 7 out of 10 players are defensive side of the ball, and they happen to be at greater needs than where the strength of the offense is in the top 10. So it's hard to argue that one. But let's talk about something else now. You know what's happening this week? The Senior Bowl. It's the Senior Bowl time of year, and I want to tell you, we have a couple of fun things going on. The practices are scheduled for Tuesday. The national team, which is the team that we are coaching, is scheduled for 11:30 to 1 p.m. on Tuesday, same time on Wednesday, same time on Thursday. We've learned that Robert Saleh, Mike LaFleur, and Jeff Ulbricht will not be the actual coaches for the Senior Bowl. We have Ron Middleton up top, getting his second chance to be a head coach, which is fantastic. We know he's got 100% win percentage, greatest in the NFL, I hear. Number 1 in the league, Ron Middleton, in our history too. So we got Ron Middleton up top, and we also have Ruttenberg, our linebackers coach, coaching the defense, and Rob Calabrese, our first-time quarterback coach, getting his chance to coach the offense. Now, what does this mean for us? So I think, and we talked a lot about this. I read, 50, 60, 80 of your comments, and we tried to have some conversation. I think a lot of us are in the same mind frame, which is this is probably a good thing. Let the position coaches actually worry about the game planning and all that, and let's just sit back and really focus on observing these guys on our roster. Let's see what we're really looking at here. Let me see what Trey McBride's made of. Let me see what Zion Johnson's made of. Let me see how he responds. Let me see how Ruckert is responding to Middleton, getting on him and all that kind of stuff. So I think it could be a good thing with our brain trust just kind of removed, stepping back a little bit and just having that eye in the sky, bird's eye view of everything so they can kind of digest the whole. So we have those practices this week. As we know, the game is going to be on February 5th, but I wanted to let you guys know that we have some coverage. We have some independent guys going down there. Number 1, we have Jetnation going down there. Dylan Terriman is going down there for Jetnation.com, and he's going to be there, and we're going to be sucking some information out of him, I imagine. We're really excited for Dylan that he gets to go down there and represent Jetnation.com. And another one is Ali from Loyal New York Jets fans. You all know and love Ali. Ali's going down there, and he's actually going to be this week's guest on the Thursday thick of it. This Thursday, February 3rd, he's going to be our guest while down there at the Senior Bowl on location. So we get to have a nice 2-hour chat with Ali while he's at the Senior Bowl week. We're going to get the whole inside scoop. We're going to see what he sees, and that's going to be fantastic. I'm grateful to have connected with Ali, and I'm grateful for him that he gets the opportunity to go down there. So we got some of our own intel going on down there. We don't have to read the diluted ESPN version of what's going on. We got some boots on the ground, and we're going to get the inside scoop, and we're going to see what's really going on. And I'm excited to bring that to you, and I'm excited for both Ali and Dylan that they get the opportunity to go down there in Mobile. As you guys know, I just drove through Mobile like 3 days ago, and I wanted to stop so badly. But guys, we have quite the opportunity here at the Senior Bowl. And I personally can't wait to get an up close and personal look with some of these players. I actually have a sneaking suspicion that we might pull from the Senior Bowl roster a little bit more than is traditional. There are some serious candidates, guys like Devin Lloyd, guys like Zion Johnson, Trey McBride, Jeremy Ruckert, Charlie Kolar. We're going to really get a close look at these guys. There are So many interesting players. And last year, I wanted to tell you guys this. Last year, we had the most players drafted from the Senior Bowl in the last 20 years, I read. So that's interesting too. So there's an increasing focus going down to the Senior Bowl and taking some of these players. And the fact that we are down there as the coach of the national team, I think is just perfect. And I think it's going to be a fantastic opportunity. I'm predicting 2 guys that we have on our roster at the Senior Bowl will be drafted by the New York Jets. I'll even say their names, okay? This is what I think. I think the New York Jets will draft Trey McBride and Zion Johnson. That's what I think is going to happen. I'm also maybe considering a little bit of Devin Lloyd action. Who knows what the Jets will do if they do follow this video's theme and go defense up top. Who knows? Maybe they get Devin Lloyd with one of their first-round picks, or who knows? Maybe he even slides into the second like so many great players have done. Don't forget, we have picks 35 and 38. That's the top of the second round. So anybody spilling over, all that spillover, we're early in the feasting line. We're early at that buffet line, and we're going to be able to take some really, really good players in those positions too. Incredibly valuable. That Sam Darnold trade is fantastic for us right now. They gave us pick 38 after our own pick of 35. I couldn't be happier. And don't forget, we also get a 4th round pick from the Carolina Panthers as well. So where are your thoughts, Jets fans? Let me know what you think in the comments. Did I convince anybody who was primarily offensive minded in the draft? Did I convince you that maybe it's wiser to go defense up top? Is there anybody that was thinking defense and now because of my argument thinks that they don't agree anymore? All that crap you said made me want to go offense. Let me know what you think in the comments. I want to remind you about the DraftKings Sportsbook app. The link is right in the top of the description right here. Don't forget to use the promo code GreenBean for 56-1 odds, everybody. Amazing, amazing, amazing. And don't forget to like and subscribe to get into the contest. I predict this contest is over this week. It's cruising. We are cruising now. I got over 1,600 subscribers since we started the contest, and I thank you. I'm grateful every day for you guys. I look forward to the next time we get to chat, and I hope you're having a great week. With all that said, as always, go Jets.